Quick podcast to get your Sunday morning started, heading into football today, and wanted to get into a quick Chiefs-Raiders preview before this afternoon. Didn't get to the podcast last Monday. Work, life, all those things pile up, and now I'm back to producing the content that I love to produce for you guys. I do really enjoy producing all this stuff, so smash that subscribe button if you do enjoy. We're on the road to 300 subscribers on the channel. Obviously also film breakdowns, all that good stuff. I plan to really kind of get things started streaming soon. Finally kind of got some equipment in to do that, so I'm going to stream over on Twitch, video game related stuff. Not 100% sure exactly. I don't know, I guess we'll see what the niche ends up being. Some Madden, maybe college football. The undisputed boxing game that came out is great. I actually might get more detailed on that at some point on the podcast, whether in the next couple of weeks. Also, UFC 308 went down. I'm recording this the evening after, or the evening of, essentially, just Saturday night leading into Sunday morning. So I'm not going to talk about that on this podcast. I plan to talk about that on Monday. We'll get into UFC 308. Rough night, obviously, for a lot of fight fans that are big Holloway fans. So shout out Ilya Taporia, did his thing. But we'll get more into that tomorrow at this point, I guess, when this comes out. So wanted to get into that. Also, Ray stopping by the podcast. He is going to give us his hater wager of the week. Kind of threw a parlay together and a segment we plan to start having on the podcast, hopefully weekly. You know, as everything aligns and works out. So maybe start having 2 podcasts a week. So I don't know. We'll see how that shapes out. But make sure you smash that bell to stay notified whenever I drop anything. Film breakdowns. As I get into the streaming path and things like that, I'll probably have more video game related content up on the channel. It started a series with college football with the Mizzou dynasty, and if you watch that Alabama game, man, it's a tough time for to be a Mizzou fan, really. As so much hype coming into the season, and now where we're at. Probably talk more about that on Monday as well. But I kind of want to make this short and sweet before the games today. Just a quick little preview, and then me and Ray's segment on the hater wager parlay of the week, which is it's kind of going to be fun. We've been talking about it and kind of talked about this since last season of just like joking about it, and now putting it together, of just putting together parlays just based on who you hate, right? Off emotion and turnover related. So stay tuned for that. That'll be towards the end of the podcast. I'm going to get into the Raiders and Chiefs real quick first. But I think that I have to address the elephant in the room at this point, the fact that I'm wearing all silver and black. I did not realize this until the moment I hit record on the podcast. And now I sit in front of you recording this podcast. Maybe I should have just went and changed, but, here we are. Try to keep a little bit of more of a rotation. I feel like the hats really, I wear the Kansas City Monarchs hat almost every podcast. It feels like my favorite hat right now since I got that. I got that at a Royals game earlier this season. Anyways, random side story. Here Papa Shiro goes rambling on the podcast. So either way, I get it. I messed up. I made a mistake here wearing silver and black talking Raiders versus Chiefs. Anyways, let's get into this. December 25th, 2023. This is the last time the Kansas City Chiefs lost a football game. It was against these Las Vegas Raiders, and I think that I already called them the Oakland Raiders once as I'm recording now, thinking back to it. So who knows? Vegas, Oakland, wherever the hell they are, the Raiders. Last loss was the Raiders. This is a big game, I think, in a few different ways. Just the talk, the bulletin board material, we're not intimidated by Patrick Mahomes. Oh, we have the secret sauce to beat Patrick Mahomes. We got we got to figure it out. Antonio Pierce is going on and on about we got Patrick Mahomes figured out, right, left and right. It seems like that's all we've heard about out of the Raiders, from the staff to the team, all that good stuff, right? They have Mahomes' number, essentially, right? That all comes to a head on Sunday, today, 3 o'clock. It all comes to a head. At Arrowhead West in Las Vegas. I don't think it's going to be a good day. I don't think it's going to be a good day for the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a blowout necessarily. I don't think that they'll just go in and blow the Raiders out. The offense is definitely, I think, trying to get things together. Obviously, D-Hop just joined the team. I haven't talked about that on the podcast at all. Obviously, I was absent last week on the podcast. I haven't really put anything out. But how about waking up at 5 in the morning, looking at your phone to D-Hop in a Chiefs uniform? The edit you've seen from time and time again, it seems like, while D-Hop was kind of being recruited by the fan base, and closed my phone out and thought, here we, whatever. Then something clicked in my mind. That was Adam Schefter. That was Shefty's pick. Maybe it was a bot. Maybe it was, or, whatever, burner account. Somebody tweeted it out. Open Twitter back up. DeAndre Hopkins to the Kansas City Chiefs, official. Adam Schefter. What? then you dive in for a minute. Like I said, still asleep, not 100% sure. I did not believe it at first whatsoever. When I closed out of the app, it was just one of those quick where you really just checking the time, having to open up the app because your fingers do what they do when they're, whatever you've trained them to do, right? Open up your Twitter app, open up your Instagram, whatever it may be. The social media of your choosing. And yeah, D-Hop is a Chief. I'm very excited about it. I think D-Hop absolutely perfectly will replace Rashee Rice and what Rashee Rice is, like, the void he's left in the slot. The way Kelsey and Rashee were playing off of each other in the slot, I just think that it's perfect. It's dynamic for the Chiefs offense, I think, just in general. And I think that it will add a huge, boost to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, there's rumors that Veach isn't done. And as I'm previewing the Raiders game, I'm going into all this. But the Veach isn't done. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sold that he's not done. But I'm also not 100% sold that he is done. So we'll see in the coming weeks. I'm going to be interested in the Miami game and see how that goes with Tua coming back. Obviously, Tyreek Hill sent out a couple of cryptic messages basically throughout his social media. And I think a lot of Chiefs Kingdom was locked onto that. I've been kind of talking about a possible trade for Tyreek Hill for a couple of weeks on this podcast. And in the trade video I put out. We'll see. It'll be interesting. We'll see. Back to the Raiders. So I think in this game, Patrick Mahomes wants to prove a point. It'll get handled when it gets handled, right? Talking about the video that the Raiders had of Kermit at, the training facility while they were in training camp. All that good stuff, have fun with it. But now you have to, meet the Reaper, essentially, right? And I know, whatever, the nickname's kind of played out. It was what it was. It was cool in the moment. When times are grim, be the Reaper for the 13-second game. But I do think the Chiefs go in to handle business. I don't think it'll be very pretty. I think it'll be probably sloppy, a lot like the 49ers game. But at the end of the day, I don't think the Raiders offense has anything to compete with the Chiefs defense. I mean, this Chiefs defense is, I think they're right on par with who they were last year. I don't think they've taken a step back. I think this team is just as good as they were a year ago on defense. They are missing L'Jarius Sneed, obviously. And, the depth at corner is a little bit less. But McDuffie is a lockdown corner. We knew this last year. And a lot of people thought McDuffie was better than Sneed last year. I'm not one of those people. I thought Sneed was the best corner in the league easily last year. The way he limited guys. I mean, he, travels with the number one receiver usually. He's doing it in Tennessee again. I mean, looking at the stats the number one receivers have put up against him and just him, I mean, he's done an outstanding job. He's done an amazing job. Tyreek Hill twice last year. Justin Jefferson last year. I mean, Jerry Sneed is a top-flight corner. You want to call him a system guy or whatever you want to call him, whatever. But dude is, one of the top 5 or 10 cornerbacks in the league either way. And I think a lot of people don't acknowledge it just because he doesn't get interceptions. I don't think Sneed really tries to get a lot of interceptions. Sneed is trying to make sure you don't catch the ball, essentially. The huge play he had against Zay Flowers. Anyways, I digress. You're missing L'Jarius Sneed. You're missing a little bit of, help on the secondary level. Najee Johnson has been kind of hit and miss. Trying to find his feet in the defense. Josh Williams, I think, went down with an injury. I'm not sure where that's at the moment. Either way, I just don't think that the Raiders obviously don't have the offensive firepower to compete with the Chiefs' defense. I think it's just about how well that this offense kind of gets in tune. I almost see this as, I don't want to get crazy disrespectful here, but as a preseason game. And why I say that is because you have had a hard reset on this offense, essentially. For the offense, I'll say, it's almost like a preseason game. You want to see what you can get out of this offense. You want to see what works. Obviously, you're practicing every day. You're seeing it in practice and these things. But live game time, how does D-Hop affect this offense? I think that, again, he fills the void of Rashee Rice, but how does, X, Y, or Z move? How does this play work with Rice now work with D-Hop? How does, all of these different things. Juju went down last week against the 49ers. There's a lot of moving parts on this offense right now that's just unsure. Hollywood Brown may be coming back, okay? Now let's kind of gear up and set up what could work with him in the mix. Rashee Rice may be possibly back in the playoffs. Not 100% sure how well that looks, but, you saw Isaiah Pacheco, or if you didn't see, he posted a video of him running, jogging, on a treadmill after he just broke his, I'm probably going to get it wrong, so I'm just going to say fibula or tibula. I can't remember what he broke. Probably still wrong either way. But Pacheco, broke his leg. Already, jogging again. Should be back before the season even ends, I believe, at this point. It's a solid base to work with because the playmakers you don't have in the receiving core, I think that you will get back to the running back position. Have Kareem Hunt as that number 2. Your pass catchers, P. Ryan, that can also chip. He basically fills McKinnon's role that, he's filled over the last few years. I think it's all good steps in the right direction. And that's why I say this for the offense. It's kind of like a preseason game, kind of a, feeler, right? Feel how you feel about this new offense. And do you need to go and make another move? I think we all thought the Vikings were going to acquire Cooper Kupp, but it's really looked like they're going for Stafford. So if Stafford goes to Minnesota, opens up Cooper Kupp, and I personally don't love the Cooper Kupp idea, but again, you get to test and feel where you're at. Do we need more to add to this offense? Obviously, you're going for the three-peat. That's what matters. The last time the Chiefs were in the stadium, they won a back-to-back Super Bowl over the San Francisco 49ers. So I think there's just a lot of emotions there between both teams. The fact that the Chiefs had the Raiders locker room for that game, the Kermit the Frog stuff, a lot of bulletin board room stuff and bulletin board stuff. Anyways, it's a little late on Saturday night. So I'm a little deprived of sleep at the moment. But to finish this up and kind of round out my thoughts on this game, the Chiefs, I think, will hide behind the run game, and hide behind is, just the terminology I'm using. They're going to build on that run game, right? I do think that they'll continue to prioritize the run. I think that they'll get D-Hop involved. I don't think that D-Hop has to be a guy that you're going to bring him along to a point, right? But, as a veteran that's been in the league for, 10 years or, something like that. D-Hop's 32. I don't think that you have to bring him along necessarily like you would a rookie or something like that. I think he's going to fit right into the offense. Worthy's going to be able to take the top off, or at least control the next levels of the passing lanes. What Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce were doing early in the season, you've seen it in my film breakdowns where I've shown where Kelce's getting Rashee Rice open by taking two zones over the middle, essentially, leaving a wide open soft spot in the zone for Rashee Rice. I think the Chiefs are able to get back to that, and they've been able to survive. They've been able to survive without it. So with that back in the mix, I just think that, again, this year has felt so weird from a Chiefs fan perspective of just, it doesn't feel like anybody got better. It doesn't feel like the Chiefs necessarily got better. Not wildly better, at least, but they're still about the same team, and that was still better than 31 other teams last year and the year before. I just don't think that it looks good really for the rest of the league at this point, and, as a Chiefs fan, it kind of gives you a weird sense of confidence that you're not 100% used to having, I guess, especially if you've been around for a while or, you're 30 plus years of age, you kind of remember some days where there wasn't a whole lot of confidence. So I think this is a Chiefs win. I think that it's probably a little sloppy. I think it ends up being a fairly low-scoring game. So I'm going to go ahead and give a score prediction of 17-13. Chiefs end up winning the game. I don't think that they blow them out. It's a divisional game. It's going to be one of those weird games. And what game isn't weird against the Chiefs at this point in 2024, it seems like? Everyone's best shot, and I think that's what comes from divisional games. Everyone gives you your best shot. I mean, a Seahawks-Rams game, it doesn't matter how good or bad, especially this rivalry. This is the best rivalry in the NFL. Best rivalry, hands down, all time, I think. Raiders versus Chiefs. These two teams hate each other. They've always hated each other. Like, from the beginning. I mean, it goes back to the owners. Lamar Davis. Lamar Hunt. I don't even know where Davis came from. Al Davis. I put the names together. Al Davis, Lamar Hunt, they didn't like each other. The organizations didn't like each other. The players didn't like each other. You know, it's like Raiders, Chiefs is the closest that you have to probably Yankees, Red Sox, essentially, in baseball, in my opinion. And so for that, I think that it'll still be a close game. But that's what makes a lot of these other games weird, I think, because it's not just the divisional opponents. It's every single opponent that's giving the Chiefs their best shot. I think that's really helping them for the postseason once they get there. You see where I'm going with that. So 17-3 is my score prediction. Chiefs take the victory, move to 7-0, and they have a shot to, a fairly weak schedule going into playing the Bills. I can't remember exactly what. I think that's week 10? Oh, 11. I think there's 2 more games. So week 9 and 10. They got the Bucks coming up at home. I can't remember the road game after that, but then, or is the Bills on the road? I'm pretty sure. I don't have a schedule pulled up in front of me. But that'd be a chance to be 9-0 heading into that game against Buffalo. On the road at Buffalo. Puts the Chiefs in a really good position to really take, they have full control of the AFC, but with a win over Buffalo and a win over Baltimore, it's going to be hard for either one of those teams to take the number 1 seed away from the Chiefs if they continue to, stay healthy and play at the level that they're playing right now, which isn't the best that they can play, mind you. I think that's what's scary for the league, that I think a lot of other, mainly fan bases, but some of these other teams, I don't think that although the Ravens are playing really good football right now, don't get me wrong, but we have definitely not even scratched the surface of the best of the Kansas City Chiefs, and we've seen Patrick Mahomes in a slump for the first 6 games of the season. So we will see. That does it for the game preview for the Raiders and the Chiefs. And so we're going to hop into the Hater Wager Parlay of the week. All right, we got Ray returning to the Papa Shro Knows podcast this week with a little thing that we kind of came up with. We've kind of been talking about it for a little bit, which this might be a little weird because he is sitting right next to me, but obviously my space is not adequate to, he's going to be parks for this episode, basically. So the Hater Wager is kind of what we came up with, kind of going into some betting, looking at some odds, and just some different things. So welcome back to the show, my man.
What's the deal, bro?
Living the dream.
Hear that.
So I guess we'll get right into it. I'll let you kind of go. Hey, right now, Ray knows. Papa Shro knows, the ins and outs of footballs. Ray knows this world. This is where I go for my advice.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to let the hate flow. And so I figure, put your money where your mouth is, right?
Exactly. I keep telling everybody this online that be freaking out about the Vegas odds on Patrick Mahomes. About how he's leading the way and whatnot. It's crazy. He's not playing. Hey, put your money where your mouth is.
Because that's where I'm at with it. Because, all right, so I'm looking at some of the games for Sunday, right? Noon games. Trevor Lawrence is only minus 120 on just throwing a pick. Especially going against that secondary against Green Bay. Give me that.
That's free money.
It's free money.
It's free money. It's like Josh Allen last year. With the over on interceptions.
Free money.
Free money.
Let me see.
And you said that was plus?
Minus.
Minus 125?
Yeah.
On Trevor Lawrence? Yeah.
I say that's an easy win. What is it? I'm looking at another one. Kyler Murray going against the Dolphins. Black Ops 6 just dropped. That boy ain't looked at a motherfucking playbook in what?
You trying to suggest Kyler Murray ain't been watching film?
Absolutely. That's not a suggestion.
That's not.
It's not a suggestion. So, I don't think he's looked at the playbook. So, yeah.
Fair enough. What's the odds on that one?
Plus 100. Easy money.
Add that to the parlay.
Easy money.
We got Kyler Murray. We got Trevor Lawrence. I'm liking this so far. I'm liking this.
Mm-hmm. And at on the 3 o'clock tip, Josh Allen throwing one pick at minus 115.
And who's he facing?
Seattle.
It's not a bad one. I mean, Josh Allen ain't throwing a pick yet, though.
He ain't.
Think he's due for one?
Definitely.
Josh Allen due for one. Throw that on the parlay.
Remember, this is the hater wager.
Exactly.
This ain't gotta be no science, no analytics. Just hate. That's all it is. Just hate.
Let the hate flow,
Let the hate
ladies
flow,
and
baby.
gentlemen. So that's gonna be our parlay, or we got anything else?
Let me check. I feel like we.
Because I like where we're going right now.
Yeah.
I think we got a pretty solid parlay built right here.
I'm gonna say even though Pat to throw one pick plus 105.
I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not against it here. I mean, I've also been watching Pat Mahomes play this year.
I think about sprinkling it, but if you want to water it down, be my guest.
I think that's one. I mean, even though I think a lot of people would argue that Josh Allen is a better fade than Patrick Mahomes in this circumstance, especially with the Raiders' defense. I don't know, the narrative, especially from the Raiders coming in, is like, we're not scared of Pat. We got Pat's number. I mean, I remember another team that got one win over the Chiefs that thought that they had their number, or at least at Arrowhead. I guess they got a few wins, but talking about the Bengals here that have won one game at Arrowhead Stadium and then kind of got a big head, and it really ain't looked the same since.
Nah. But like I said, that's one that you could replace that Josh Allen one with that.
Right. So let's go on the other side of that, because we are talking about the hater wager of the week, right?
For sure.
I think Pat's going to let the hate flow after that video. The Kermit video in training camp.
Oh, yeah.
We've been talking about that again, right? He says it's going to get handled when it gets handled. I think it gets handled this weekend. Now, I could also see the flip side that Pat goes stupid, but also still throws a pick. Solid little 280, 300-yard game, sprinkling maybe 3 touchdowns. Get it however he wants. Maybe it's rushing, maybe it's passing, but maybe good for a pick there.
I mean, that's the same thing I got in mind. Because I'd probably project him for 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 passing. Anywhere from 250 to 285 passing, more than likely. Mm-hmm. And a pick. Still a good, efficient day. Because we already know he can still just hide behind the run game if he wants to.
Absolutely, yeah.
And say, because that's just going to keep moving. That is a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. I mean, the Chiefs' run game has been really good.
So,
obviously, this year.
I don't know. Like I said, I like the odds better on the Pat one. And, but I'm going off of who I hate.
This is fair.
So that's what I'm saying. This has nothing to do with analytics. This is all emotion. Pure hate.
Pure hatred in this one.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah, that's that. I think that'll be cool. Because anything else, you put a little too much dip on your chip. And I don't like the odds on most other people.
So we're going to lock in. We got Kyler Murray.
Yes, sir.
We got Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, sir.
Josh Allen.
Yes, sir.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
I like it. 4-leg parlay.
Just a cool little
I like it.
4-leg.
I like it.
Nothing too crazy.
I ain't mad at it. I mean, I think that's a solid,
You know what I'm saying?
solid hater parlay right there.
You slap $5 on that, bro. You getting a nice little Chili's dinner out of there.
You know what I'm saying? Nice little chunk of change.
That's all.
Ain't even got to do nothing crazy.
Nah.
Throw 5 down. You got 5 to spare.
That's all. It's a quick little 5 spot.
Take the family out. You know what I'm saying?
Ta-da.
Or do what you will with the money. All right, so that basically rounds out our hater wager parlay for this week. That, again, let me know in the comments below how you feel about this. Are you rocking with it? And who you would throw on your hater wager parlay for this week. Week 8? Week 8?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to just have Ray go ahead and round us out. Tell us exactly what we got in this.
All right, so Josh Allen throw 1 pick. That's minus 115. Kyler Murray to throw one pick, plus 100. Trevor Lawrence throw one pick, minus 120. And Pat Mahomes to throw one pick, plus 105. Rounds out to about plus 1,305. $5 on that, $70. That's a nice dinner.
That's a nice dinner. That's a nice dinner.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a Chili's dinner.
Oh, yeah, it's a little more than a Chili's dinner. I'm just thinking, like, with your old lady or something like that.
no,
That's a Chili's dinner. But you eat like a king there.
Oh, yeah. You get your appetizer. You get the whole meal.
Well, I'm
get
talking
the
about 2 or 3
dessert.
drinks.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? A good Chili's
Good
dinner.
night, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But, yeah, $70? Nah, that's a nice dude. That's a dude's night out right there.
Oh, yeah.
You get
For
your
sure.
nice steak.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Chardonnay, if that's your thing.
I'm saying whatever you want, you know?
I'm saying you treat yourself off of that.
Absolutely.
$5.70. So just rock with me. Let's see where this goes.
Hey, let's see where it goes. Ray, I appreciate you stopping by the pod. If you enjoyed the podcast, make sure you smash that subscribe button. We are still on the road to 300. Smash that like button, especially if you watched all the way to the end. Really appreciate that. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about the Hater Wager Parlay, who you would have on your ticket, who we missed, as well as Chiefs Raiders. Let me know your prediction on that game later on today. Of course, 3 o'clock block. Again, Chiefs on the road out to Arrowhead West to take on the Raiders. Let me know your score predictions and how you feel about the game, at the moment heading into it. I will leave a link to Ray's X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, in the comments below, or in the description below, excuse me. That way you can follow along with him, let him know about the Hater Wager Parlay, how you felt about it, and who would be on your ticket. Without further ado, until next time, go Chiefs.